So I just tried to keep it as new and fresh as I could.
Yeah, because
finding different looks and through windows and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because I find that would be the challenge with that, is trying to make it look different every time.
Yeah, you don't just want to post. You can't post the same photo every day.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that's kind of like where the talent aspect comes in the video, because anyone can kind of just spray and pray with their camera, but trying to keep it innovative. And how have you figured out, like, how have you navigated that, doing video and photography for so long, like over 10 years? Like, how have you stayed consistent in this industry?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
I just kind of try and keep my inspiration like as minimal as possible. Like with my photography, like how you said with the vintage look, it's like I always wanted to sort of convey the same emotions you get whenever you look back at like road trip photos that your parents took with a film camera.
Right. Okay.
Like I wanted that. Like it doesn't matter what
Nostalgia
was in the photo
kinda?
or what angle the person was sitting at or anything like that. Just like looking at that photo, like you feel something when you look at it. It puts you back into that moment. Doesn't matter if it was perfect or not.
What is it for you that sells to those emotions?
I don't know. It's just like good, like simple sort of times. Like simple done well, or basic done properly, beats anything every time.
You like that minimalistic kind of approach more so than the super complex artwork?
Yeah, 100%. It's easier to produce, and
True.
And I get more out of it personally. So it's been great like that. But then at the same time, what we were talking about earlier, it's like I'm still learning so much every day. So whenever I'm on set with other people doing it professionally, like being able to keep up with people, being able to stay active in the conversation. That was the most important part.
Because it feels like if you've been doing it for so long, you're like, hey, I know basically all the different angles we can do to make this look good. I know all the different types of filters and effects we can use. So you say you're still learning. Is it more so just like learning like different styles, or learning how to collaborate with people?
Both.
Both?
Yeah, both for sure. Like I did event photography for about 9 years in the clubs. Every single club you've ever heard of in Ottawa.
You ran
over
that
the last
shit.
10 years. I took photos for them.
That's dope.
But then at the same time, you get that same thing. Like you can't just take the same photo of a club every night. I mean, you can. Can and did.
But you're going to need to find a new job.
But exactly. So it was a matter of
keeping it fresh,
keeping it interesting, keep it like using different types of photography. I remember one time for Frenzy in Ottawa, that was at Babylon. There was a photographer doing it. He moved to Montreal now, but I had to reverse engineer his style in which he shot the event.
Oh, interesting.
So it was a double exposure in every photo. So yeah, I had the camera set to 1 second exposure time with an on-camera flash and an external flash in my other hand, that I would take an initial photo and then move the camera and the flash and then manually set the secondary flash off so that there was a double exposure in each photo.
Yo, that's fucking crazy.
But learning how to reverse engineer any style, like whether I see an advertisement that I really like and seeing in my head, like right away, this is how they set it up.
So yeah, how would you learn that? Are you just watching YouTube videos or just trial and error?
YouTube, trial and error, a little bit of everything.
Like, are you trying that the night of at the club and like, okay, if this goes well, it'll look dope. If not,
sometimes for sure. Oh yeah, it's the best. And I was always around it, so it was a great environment to test out new things when I was already there. There was no downside.
Yeah.
Or there's no like way I could lose if I still had the other photos already ready.
That's fair. So like when you get in those kind of moments where things are getting a little stagnant, you find things getting a bit repetitive. What's your headspace like, and how do you get past that?
It used to take me a lot longer than it does now to sort of get over that. It can happen. It happens to everybody in any sort of creative field. If you're doing the same thing over and over, it becomes a little lackluster after a while. You don't have the same motivation, same drive just to continue to do the same thing every day. So a lot of the times that's how new styles are developed, through boredom or through the need for them.
No, I understand that, because we've been working a bit with this artist from Toronto. His name's Oseko. He's really dope. You guys should go check him out. But his upcoming album's going to be called The Unlearning, and he's tried explaining to me what that is, and I kind of had a hard time understanding what it was. But then I was listening to this podcast where this guy talks about the same thing, and I was like, oh shit, like this is a known like concept, the unlearning. And the way he broke it down is like it's the ability to just kind of take a step back, not be afraid to, even though you've worked like halfway up the mountain you're climbing, climb back down, reevaluate, look at it from a completely different standpoint. Don't be afraid to break down everything you've built and start from scratch and rebuild, and that can actually get you to the top faster than trying to keep on the trend you've already been going at. So that's kind of what I feel like everyone needs to be able to do when you're in this arts.
You definitely need to be able to stay flexible and like roll with the punches or roll with whatever's going on. Yeah, that's my whole career was initially based off of never having the budget for the proper or the professional gear. I always had like basic starter cameras and stuff like this, but like a point and shoot where you can't take the lens off of it. and I'm at Barrymore's in 2012 shooting the Weeknd.
Okay.
With a point and shoot that you get like.
That's okay. Let's get into that for a bit, because wasn't that like the Weeknd's first show in Ottawa you shot?
I believe it was the first show he did outside of Toronto.
Okay.
Because it was a part of that mini tour.
Okay, like how many years ago was that?
That was like 9 years ago now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was that experience like?
Shout out all the Ottawa rappers that are still going, like City and Bobby Brugal and shit. They always headline those shows, like open them. Oh, even the French Montana shows back then.
Oh shit.
They were both. I pulled up 10 photos from like 10 years ago of them like opening the shows and stuff like that. It was awesome.
Yo, that's fucking crazy. Like, but yeah, like what was that like? I don't know. 9 years ago, was the Weeknd like pretty well known 9 years ago, or was it still pretty like? So
it was like. He had already you could see the rise in his career. Like everybody knew at that point that he was going to be something special.
Okay, cool.
So it was right sort of mid rise to fame.
Just before the peak, the rising action towards his
because it was right at the time of the trilogy.
Okay.
So it was like, so he had hits.
Yeah, they're already out. People are already bumping them.
He's been that dude since the beginning.
So was there a different vibe when it came to shooting that? Like, did it have a different feel to it, shooting that show?
I mean, nobody was technically supposed to be even taking photos.
Oh shit!
But I was for the people that had the show, like brought the Weeknd to play that show. What was it? Pink Lips Entertainment. Back in the day.
Pink Lips Entertainment.
Yeah, they would do like events all over the city and stuff. But nobody was even supposed to be really taking photos or doing video that night. So nobody was allowed in with gear. But I was always doing the photos for that group, so I came in and I already had my cameras. So
they're like, "Yo, this is like
I'm not gonna not shoot it." So I just did no flash photography.
That's sick. Did it turn out good?
Yeah, some of them. Some of it was terrible. Some of it looked like it was taken on like an actual toy camera.
Well, you said you took it on one of those original cameras you had where it was just
no, you couldn't take the lens off of it or anything. It was like 5 megapixels maybe.
Honestly though, as rough as that is, I find people in the early days of whether it be photography or videography, and you just have limited budget, limited equipment, I find that's when you get almost the most creative, because you're like, okay, fuck, how can I make this work? I have like the worst equipment.
That's exactly what you just said. Make it work.
Exactly.
You figure it out.
Because I feel people that have all this top-notch equipment, it's just too easy. You're just like, okay,
it doesn't make good art. That's not what does it. It's still the person controlling everything.
Right. Yeah. No, that's crazy though. I can't believe you were there for one of his first shows. And
so it was cool to be able to shoot him at like in a stadium at the other tour too, a couple years back.
Oh, you shot another one of his shows?
Yeah. Whenever he played where the Sens play.
Oh, CTC.
Whenever he did when he was on the world tour with Belly.
Oh shit. What was that like?
That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun for sure.
So it was him and Belly doing. Was it? They're both their shows.
Them and Black too from Atlanta.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, he was opening as well. But that was a great show.
Were you like backstage at all, or?
Yeah.
Damn, that's fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, I was hanging out with my boy Shin. Shout out Shin. He's the recording engineer for the Weeknd.
Damn.
That he used to work out of Boda Studios.
Okay.
In Saga, so he was a part of like the
He's
team
close
that
to
we
the
had.
family.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's the guy
dope,
right
man.
there.
So you must have some stories then.
Quite a few. Quite a few for sure.
Is there anything that like you think of every now and then. You're just like, man, how fucking lucky am I to have like been able to work with these guys?
Oh, all the time, 100%. Like I still just see myself like I'm a kid from Shawville, Quebec. We had a town of maybe like 2,000 people, farm area, English town in rural Quebec. So for me to be doing any of this,
How did I end up here?
yeah, like
Backstage.
I'm
at a
already
Weeknd show.
past where I technically should have been. So I mean, any of this stuff is bonuses now. So I'm just having fun.